Hello there, this is Julissa, Clement, and Rosie. This is our group assignment number 2. And we are without Michael today and Rosie, and Nicole, who is stuck at work, and we'll try to join later throughout the conversation, but we're not sure if she's able to join us. But for today, right now we have Julissa, Rosie, and Clement. So for today's discussion, I know one of the things that was brought up was from chapter 4, 5, and 6 was to discuss the leadership style that made sense to us or that worked for us. So I'll go ahead and start. One of the ones that I always, being in the corporate sector for more than, I feel like 15 years, the one that has made a really impact on me and where I've seen really transform and influence me is the transformational leadership style. That one really makes sense to me because for the person that I am, I like for my leader to show the ability to influence me, to have the same vision as me, and as well, really to roll up their sleeves and help and do the work and see the same vision. So that one works for me. I'll go ahead and let Rosie and Clemens and also chime in on what works for them or which one that was more relevant or made sense to them.
So I agree with you, Julissa, as far as the transformational leader, specifically on the book's description of being an interactive leader. So really, like you said, rolling up the sleeves and getting your hands dirty. So, I've never really been, from my personal experience, somebody to just let things go or just be what they call a back of the house manager. So I love being out on the floor and just really working with the people, with your partners on the floor, and really getting a good idea of, not only gauge their mood and their flow, but to really understand the work at the same time, and really be interactive leader in that aspect.
I like the charismatic approach to leadership, and specifically talking about which way to look at it was the situational approach to leadership, because I found that a lot of leaders don't have to be necessarily the most confident individuals or the most what I'm looking for. The confidence base may not be there. They may not be a professional and an expert in their a certain area, but they have the ability to influence those type of people to join their cause and to motivate them to do the things that they need to do. And so watching that social interaction with people where you've got a guy who's not, he can just influence the people he needs to do those jobs for him. He doesn't have to actually have those skills. So I thought that was something that really, and I compared to a lot of people in history or time illustrated studies and that have charisma, and people just seem to want to follow those type of people.
I think for me, what I find out of the transformational, and I think it's because of my recent role that I'm in the corporation organization that I'm in right now, is impacting me quite a bit. So I know we have some other Starbucks employees or partners that are on my team actually, but also I know our other ASU scholars. But with Howard Schultz, who was our former CEO, I would describe him as a transformational leader. I think it goes back to the creativity around his leadership. I know the book mentioned, that leaders that are the transformational leaders, they constantly challenge the status quo by seeking out new ideas, products, and ways of performing tasks. But I think it goes greater than that, even with Starbucks. Howard really has a different outlook on how the social impact affects our communities, and therefore he really is a true believer in that, us as a big corporation as Starbucks, or even him as a big leader, he uses his platform to make an impact on what is happening in our community and within our country. And that has really, really resonated well with me and the things that I believe in. And he's, for me, a prime example of a transformational leader, because he goes against status quo, and he typically, really sides on issues that other maybe organizations or other leaders wouldn't really talk about, or doesn't really would use their company or their platform to talk about, and he does that. So that for me is I think the most recent example of a transformational leader, and is the reason why I choose to stay with the company I stay with and choose to do the work that I do, because not only do I believe in the work, but also the fact that my leaders and those who are running the company also believe in the same thing really resonates well with me. And I'm not sure if I wasn't, and I think to your point, Clement, the charismatic leader has some of that. I think some of those Starbucks leaders have a charismatic leadership style. Not everyone has a transformational leadership style like Howard in our organization. They do not. But I think they kind of go in line. It's very different than the authoritative leadership that I'm not used to. And I'm fortunate to work in an organization that it's about empowerment and influencing their subordinates or their followers. And so I'm a firm believer, of any of those that have a type of influence and kind of, we're not a flat organization, but for some part in some part of the business of Starbucks, you can tell there's a flat organization type of style that I really appreciate. At least for my team, I know I'm on the social impact team, and they really believe in that. Everyone has a voice, everyone has input, and I even heard before Howard Schultz stepped down saying that if he can remove titles, he would, and he would go to a flat organization, because he really firmly believes that that everyone has a voice and everyone should be heard and everyone has a great idea. And I think that's where the creativity part falls into, for me at least. So I wanted to share that as well.
That's funny that you mentioned about Howard Schultz getting rid of titles and really everybody having a voice, because that's kind of something that I mentioned as far as my weekly post for this week, pretty much along the same lines. But another great point about Howard Schultz is, being a great visionary and creating that vision for us as a company, for Starbucks, to inspire and nurture the human spirit. I mean, what a way to motivate your employees, for your partners, to get people excited for the company and really want to reach out and connect with another person. So he also did a great job creating that vision and really holding true to that as well.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying about the transformational stuff and how the ability to do.
Clement, we can't hear you. Can you speak a little louder or into the microphone?
Can you hear me?
Try to say it again.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I totally agree with you guys as far with the transformational leadership styles and how they seem to be really a big thing in the Starbucks organization and a great thing to help the organization grow. And it seems to be obviously working for a huge organization, the biggest cost supplier in part of the world. I think that having that charisma and reading about it and looking at some of the social approaches to determining what makes a charismatic leader, that some of these things, it's almost kind of like a charismatic leader can kind of fake it till he makes it, Something about it ethical, and when they get into situations, they're good at the ability to kind of get out of it, and they have a way of smooth talking and stuff that people attach onto. And so some of these folks who have that leadership style and go into that here to have a fake it till they make it, they just seem like they know what's going on and they have the answers to things when really they kind of They don't have the expertise. They don't really have the ability to help remove obstacles for people and kind of get down and dirty and help lead on the floor with the transformational leaders. These guys, some of these qualities are something that is definitely important for transformational leaders to have, and all kinds of leaders to have. The ability to sell yourself and your vision. That's one thing to create it, but to really sell it to people is a different thing. But just watching looking at some of the social experiments that are, and I just kind of see how you don't have to even have some of these other qualities that make you a good leader. You just have to, if you're very charismatic, and I've known plenty of guys like this that are real charismatic and they get in a leadership spot or a leadership role, and they seem like they know what's going on with it. Eventually, I get exposed for not being able to be that kind of leader, not having that foundation of transformational and other kind of democratic leaders like that.
What do you guys think? I know one of the questions I was asked for this assignment was, what do leaders do to motivate the followers? I think for me, what motivates me is someone who not only align with the goals of the mission and stays aligned with them, but also someone, what I get motivated by is someone who has my best interest at heart, and that is there to develop and grow me, and then also has a vision and mission to grow our team and whatever projects that we're doing, or whatever our mission is to do is that's what motivates me. I know right now I'm actually struggling with a new leader, and I think it's because he's new, and one of the things that I have, and for me, like, what is motivating me to stay? I do love the work. I love the work that I do, but it's hard because ever since the 7 years I've been with Starbucks, I've had amazing leaders. So for me, this is new, and I think this chapter in this class, for instance, is really helping me get through these pain points with my new leader, because it's helping me think through. Especially this last one about power and what are some of those things of conflict resolution has been helpful for me. But it's all about motivation, and for the last 2 weeks has been really unmotivating for me. And this chapter has really helped me understand, there's a learning curve, and try to understand where the new leader's coming from and why he was, brought onto the team. I'd love to understand your thoughts about motivation in your role.
So I really enjoyed chapter 5 with the leadership and power. It made me definitely reflect a lot on myself, because I've been kind of struggling as far as not so much our new leader piece, but in my store level, just kind of, I'm really trying to motivate my partners to give that excellent customer service that we're really, trying to develop. And we have a whole new company-wide initiative, and, Jalissa North Star. So
yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes. So how do I really bring that to life in my store for my partners? So this is actually perfect timing, because a part of me was like, okay, I'll go back to my reward power and, do a gift certificate for, the greatest barista of the week or whatever. And, the other part of me struggles with that, because it shouldn't have to be reward power. It should be more of like a, the partners, the employees wanting to do it for, their job, and just kind of like the expectation. So, many of them, going back to referral power, really doing it because, they call me their Starbucks mom and what have you, they really look up to me, and, what are motivated by that and want to do the right thing as well. So it was actually really insightful reading this chapter. It couldn't have been more perfect, to really help me decide as far as what direction I'm going to be going in. And I decided not to do reward power, as many other people are deciding to do. So I'm really just going to have like those deep, insightful conversations, you know, just kind of like laying it out there, and really just seeing which people kind of run with it and want to develop, and those that kind of just want to, you know, in for a paycheck. So I really enjoyed this chapter 5.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually agree. Seeing the different types of power, it kind of brought up like a flashbulb in my head, because I'm looking back at different leaders I've had different bosses and stuff that's growing. And there's this kind of leader and exercise this kind of power. I've seen a lot of the different ways. Different ways different leaders handle things. What I did was receiving it. Seeing maybe why they had to do it this way and versus another way, and also seeing like we had a new deputy chief come in and watching the way he does things, the way he communicates stuff. It's interesting to think about what to do with these departments, different guys, and different ways.
I think you're breaking up, Clement.
Our politics feel bad. Start to show their head a little bit. Always just one of those seeing how people that have that ability to see them as different in situations, as well as and then keeping it to the goal within their. I think this puts us up at 16 minutes.
Clement, I'm having a really hard time hearing you. Rosie, can you hear him okay? Maybe
he's breaking up pretty bad.
Okay. Clement, do you have like headphones that you can put on and then maybe can hear you?
Yeah.
Just because it's.
Are we at time?
Oh yeah, Clement is also keeping up time.
I know. I think we're at like.
We're at what?
We're at time.
We're at time? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll go ahead and close us out. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of chapters and learn about the other different types of leadership styles, and see if there are any that, for instance, that I can implement. And I think some of my other team members probably don't want to speak for them, but I'm sure that they're also looking forward to reading the next couple of chapters and being back again and discussing what we've learned. So thank you. And that is our assignment number 2 for today.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.